Hello, everyone. For those that are interested in teaching using Google Meet, I definitely want to walk you all through somewhat of an introductory tutorial to introduce you to Google Meet. It's definitely already infused in our Google Classroom. It makes life a little bit easier so that we don't have to be in two places at once when we already have this tool embedded within our Google Classrooms. I'm going to open Meet in the quickest way possible so that we can see, what that looks like. So meet.google.com. Now, this is if you were creating, a very quick and instant meeting. Okay, so this was a meeting that's not already set up within your Google Classroom, which I'm about to show you how to do as well. This is the quickest way to, generate and create a Meet. This is a good way for you all to practice as well if you have not used Meet before. So meet.google.com, and of course, the Meet is available inside of the waffle here. But make sure you're in your school account, okay? And here it is, Meet, okay? So meet.google.com, or just go right here to the Meet icon. Either way, it's going to bring you to this place, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just say we're going to do a new meeting, okay? And start an instant meeting. Of course, you can create a meeting for later, but we're going to start an instant meeting, okay? So when you start the meeting, more than likely, your camera, I believe, should be set to already be on, all right? Hey, everyone. So we can go through these one at a time, all right? So here is your microphone, okay? The icon next to that is your camera. You can turn your camera on and turn your camera off. All right. And then here is your closed captions if you want the verbiage to appear as you speak. Okay. Here is the raise hand. Okay, this is if you need to raise the hand during the meeting or your students need to raise their hand. Here is where you will share your screen inside of Google Meet. All right, here are more options. And of course, this will be to end the call. But if I click on these options here, you have your whiteboard. Here's if you want to record your meeting. You can change the layout, okay? So if you want to click here and change the layout, you can leave it on automatic. This is the best bet, and then allow Google to automatically choose the layout for you. You can have the tiled layout. If your students are in here, you'll be able to see these variations in action. You can spotlight yourself, okay, or spotlight a student. And then there is the sidebar where you can just see a few students on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Tiles, this will be to change the sizing of it. I believe it goes up to 49 tiles at this time, okay? So we'll leave this one on auto, right? Also inside of these options here is a full screen, of course, so you can make the screen full. And then change your background. So inside of the background changes here, I have it on a slightly blur. You can completely blur your background altogether, or you can change it to one of these other fun options that is for your background. And you can, of course, report an issue or a problem, troubleshooting, and help tips. And then here are your settings for your microphone and your speakers. Okay, the video settings are also in here so that you can change your camera options if you want to use the camera. I'm using the camera on the laptop right now. You can also use the camera, from within the classroom if you have an additional camera that you may have hooked up via USB. And then you can change your resolution, but we'll leave it on automatic, okay? And then here are your host controls, okay? So this is the big deal where it's kind of like, hey, how can I control what's going on, all right? So for your host controls, this lets you restrict what participants can do inside of your meeting, okay? And we do want to be able to do that. Here, let everyone share their screen, okay? So we do not want everyone to be able to share their screen, so we'll turn that off, okay? Send chat messages. You can turn this on and off, and I'll show you how you can do that during the meeting in another view. But for now, we will turn this off. Okay, and then quick access. So when this is turned off, that means that the host must join first. And I believe this is the main one that we worry about a lot. Okay, so we want to make sure that the students are not inside of our meeting prior to us coming into the meeting. Okay, so we want to turn this off. Okay, because when turned off, the host must join first. Only people invited by the host can join without asking. Everyone else must ask to join. including people who dial in. People can't join anonymously, and only hosts can dial out of a meeting. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. All right, so those are our control settings for the host. These settings are here as well. So here you have the meeting details, and meeting details are pretty cool because you can copy this info if you need to shoot that link to someone very quickly. And if you have attachments, say you're having a staff meeting, or if we are having maybe a 504 meeting where you're inviting parents into a conference and you want to have some attachments that they need to see, you can click right here and those attachments will show up during your meeting. All right, here is where it gets a little bit cool. This is the people icon, okay? So for the people icon, now you can mute all at once and all students are muted, okay? This option wasn't available at some point, but now it is. Here is where you can, of course, add your students. So if you want to call the students in, you can do that, okay? And then here are those host controls. So you can still access them quickly from here. So you don't have to go through these three dots. You can also go to your controls from here. And as you can see, they were turned off, okay? So all students can't just click the button and begin to share their screen. And then students are not able to come right in and immediately start chatting, okay? If you want them to chat, you will turn this on, okay? Right here during the meeting, you can turn this on and off. All right. And also here's the chat. Let everyone send messages. Again, we have it off. That's three different places that you can turn chat on and off. All right. And then here's some activities. So if you want to record, all right, which is great, we can record firsthand prior to the meeting. And then here is the whiteboard. The whiteboard is super cool. Whiteboard feature actually uses Jamboard. So if I go ahead and click that, you see it says creating Jam in the bottom left-hand corner, and it is opening up a Jamboard. Okay, so this is also connected to our Google Drive and our accounts. And over here are your options and tools that you would need to utilize while inside of Jam. That is what you'll use for the whiteboard directly inside of your Meet without even leaving. Okay, all right. So you can start a new one. If you already have a Jamboard inside of your Drive that you already created and an activity that you want to complete with the students, you can choose it directly from your Drive here. Okay, and then that Jam will be sent to all of the students that are inside of your meeting. Right. And then finally here, the host controls. So as you can see, you don't have to go here for the options. Some things are in several locations. If I click on these controls right here, here it is. This lets you restrict what participants can, all right, do inside of the meeting. We need to be able to do that. We'll leave that on. Let everyone share their screen. No. Send chats at the moment. No. And quick access, all right. And this is off because we need to join first, okay, before the students can join. If we go back to view all host settings, we're going to see the same things that we saw under the three dots here under options. All right. So I just wanted to show you those options inside of the meeting and what that will look like. We can't see everything because the students are not in here. Once your students are in here, you also have an option for the breakouts as well. But what we're going to do is I want to show you how you generate that Meet, okay, from inside of your Google Classroom. So right here you have an option you see where you can generate the Meet link, and they can see that link right on this front tile before they even enter into the Google Classroom. But I want you to see what it looks like inside of Classwork. So inside of Classwork right here, you have Meet, okay? So here is that Meet option. So if I click on that Meet option, it's still asking me to generate a Meet. So if you've never generated a Meet before, it's going to ask you to generate a Meet link. You'll only have to do this once, okay? And so I want to show you inside of the settings because all of the options are available here. I like for you to have multiple views and ways to get to these tools that you need. Down here where you see the Meet icon, generate Meet link. So I'm going to go ahead and generate that link. All right. And then in those options here, you can either copy this link and paste it into a calendar if you're setting a meeting, okay? Or you can reset that Meet link. So if you want to start it all over again, you can reset it. It's visible to everyone at this time. So we don't want that to be visible. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and turn that off, okay? We want to turn that off. And you can go ahead of time. And as you can see, I went in ahead of time in this Meet. and change those options. So what you would want to do is go ahead and change those options as well. Okay, so if we went here where it's not visible to the students, we're going to go ahead and click Save. All right, now you'll see the difference if we were to go back out to our classes view, all right, and we were to go here. Now you can see there is a link, okay? Here is the link, but also there is an eye with the line through it, and that lets us know that it is not visible to the students at this time, all right, because we turned that off. Once you make it visible to the students, they can click directly from here and join the meeting. They can also join from inside of the classroom. But as you can see now, the Meet link is not there inside of the classroom because we didn't want it to be visible to the students as yet. We'll go here to classes, okay, and we can click here. You'll notice it will take us to that meeting, all right? So it is attempting to join me into that meeting, all right? So here we are, okay, and it tells you no one else is here. You can check your volume prior to entering, okay? You can change your background before you go into the meeting as we looked at before, okay? And here are your settings. You want to go right into those settings, okay? And make sure you check if your video is on. Make sure you have the correct video, okay? You can check your audio prior to entering the meeting, okay? You can do all of that beforehand, and then you can join inside of your meeting. You can also change your settings so that you're able to monitor them. So you want to change and make sure that your host control is turned on. You also want to make sure that the presenting for all students is turned off. You want to turn your chat off for all students, okay? So if you want to wait until that time when you're ready for them to participate inside of in the chat and the meeting, then you can turn it on at that time. There will also be a poll option, Q&A, and then meet breakouts. Those will be available once students have entered into the meeting, all right? So once you get those settings together, you can go back into the classroom and then you can turn those visuals off and make sure that it is not available to the students. All right, so here is that Meet link, not visible to students. And then when you're ready to start your meeting, you'll click here and then it will become available to the students. All right, if we go back to classwork, you'll see that that Meet code is now available. So your students can join from out at the front tab, or they can come into classwork and join from inside of the meeting, okay? So hopefully that just about covers everything to make things a little bit more comfortable. I know that using new technology can be, somewhat frightening to those of us that are not very comfortable, but I can assure you that Meet is very simple and friendly to use. But the only difference between techie people and non-techie people is your willingness to click around and learn things. Don't be afraid. It is right inside of the Google Classroom. So if you're already using Google Classroom, hey, give Meet a try. Test it out. Type in meet.google.com and start a meeting and just go in and play around and see how comfortable you feel with that. Okay. Also, you can use this to record prior to if you want to record. These recordings will drop immediately into your Google Drive. It can be for your opening, it can be for instruction that you want to explain, and in order to do that you just want to go ahead and click record in these options right here and record the meeting. So for our students that will be joining us for concurrent learning and joining hybrid, you want to make sure that they still can log in through the Teams link where we place that Google Classroom link for them, and then give them those instructions on the first day. So the first day that you guys meet, give them those rituals and routines and those norms, what it is that they need to know about how to join Google Classroom and how to join the Meet daily when it's time for your class. So you all will need to discuss that at the beginning of the class or toward the end once everyone is in the meeting, so that they know how, and that's a norm. How do I join my class from here on? If you're going to use Google Meet, make sure that the students know how to log in and join that Google Meet each day your class meets. All right, cool beans, guys.